podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the premier radio networks on Saturday, April 30th, 2022. This is episode 1889. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Wealthfront. To start building your wealth and get your first $5,000 managed for free for life, go to wealthfront.com/techguy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Micah Sargent has the day off, but it's okay. It's you and me. We're talking high tech at 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you could still call. Just use Skype. Skype out, something like that. All you have to do is go 8888 Ask Leo on your Skype out device. And we'll be talking high tech, you and me. Computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, all that kind of stuff. 8888 Ask Leo. You can now ask Google to remove your phone number, email, and address from search results. You kind of have to be being harassed. That's the bad news. Good news is you can ask them to get rid of it, but they're not going to remove personally identifiable information, PII, from Google search unless you can say, well, look, see, they're bugging me.
Log in through the Google Home app.
I'm not talking to you, but okay. My Google device. Every time I say the word, she wakes up. Shh, go away. They will evaluate each request, says the G word, based on the criteria listed below and evaluate the content for public interest. So this is kind of like Twitter. Remember Twitter put out a policy that said we're going to get rid of harassing tweets unless there's a public interest in it. Okay. For us to consider the content for removal, it must have government ID, stuff like Social Security, bank account numbers, credit card numbers, images of signatures, images of ID, highly personal, restricted, and official records like medical records, personal contact info. That's the one you care about. I think the reason this came up for me is there are lots of sites, Spokeo is one, which take public information. They go around to county seats and stuff, and they copy down the stuff that, for years, it's always been public information. For instance, when somebody buys a house, you can go to the county seat, say, who owns that house? And they've got it on record there. But it was never available, to the world. You had to make your trip down to Dubuque and to get the thing. And but what happened is companies went around they sent people around and copied all that information down and put it on the internet. So you can go to a site like Spokeo. I probably shouldn't give them any credit, but you can go to a site like that and enter your name, and lo and behold, there's your phone number, your previous addresses, maybe your current address, and that kind of thing. So the question is, will they take that stuff down? Because that's not necessarily harassing, is it? I don't know. If you're being doxxed, that's what the kiddies call it, where somebody's publishing your personal information to encourage people to harass you, like go to your house and stuff. It'd be very dangerous, right? Well, that's a good thing. Google should probably take that down. Doesn't remove the offending content, just the search results. But Google is this is where people are a little nervous. Google is so powerful that if it doesn't show up on Google search, it doesn't show up. It's like it never existed. How would you find it? Right? How would you know it's there? It'd be hard to find. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, I think that's a good thing. You can also ask Google to delete your photos from search results if you're under 18, and your parents can do that. So all of that's, I think that's good, I guess. Yeah, that's good. So a teeny weeny step toward making the internet a better place. I still would remind everybody that, be careful about what you put online, especially young people, because it lives forever. And even if it's theoretically private, it's not necessarily guaranteed to be private forever. So, be careful about what you post on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff, even if you have a private account. You put it on the internet, you're kind of publishing it. I always told my kids, never put anything on the online that you would be embarrassed for your grandma to see or a future employer. Spotify's, this was the week of quarterly results. I'll give you the thumbnail version. Of course, the big one, Netflix, that was at the beginning of the week. They said, we've lost a couple 100,000 subscribers. Stock tanked. A couple 100,000 out of, 38 million or something, some huge number. And, of course, my wife was saying this morning. She said, well, of course, they had huge growth during quarantine. Now it's kind of ending. People are going out and about. Maybe they're watching less TV. They say, we can get rid of that Netflix account. So, of course, just a couple 100,000. Big deal. Well, it's a big deal to Wall Street, isn't it? And this is kind of the problem with Wall Street. It's what have you done for me lately? That's what they care about. So that was bad. Microsoft had very good earnings. Google had they made less money from digital advertising than they anticipated. Still made money, still grew, but not as fast. And again, punished by the stock market because, well, you got to keep growing. You got to double. You can't double forever, right? Let's see. Facebook, same kind of problem. Facebook's just been struggling with their stock. Spotify had an interesting result. They, as you may know, they canceled Russia. So that was 1.5 million premium subscribers gone. They had trouble with Joe Rogan. People, I'm leaving Spotify. The Obamas very famously were going to do a podcast for Spotify and they went somewhere else. Did it hurt him? No. Spotify went from 180 to 182 million paying subscribers in the last quarter. 2 million grew, even though they lost 1.5 million. So that's good. Yeah, that means they're increasingly the powerhouse. And then there's Elon. We don't have to talk too much about Elon. Now we know that he sold about $8 billion in Tesla stock after making that offer for Twitter. He's got to come up with $21 million. He's borrowing the rest of the $44 billion. But there's a lot of B's in there. What does it mean? Well, it means he probably is going to do it. I mean, it wasn't guaranteed that he would. Wasn't, because, he still would have to raise the money. He's got the loans and all that stuff. But, of course, it would cost him $1 billion, according to the deal he made with Twitter, if he pulls out. And if they pull out, it's also $1 billion. So nobody's going to want to pull out of that. Or maybe not. Maybe Elon will say at the end, yeah, it's worth $1 billion not to be saddled with this turkey. Because honestly, I think it kind of is. He's going to, I don't see how you make money with Twitter. Nobody's figured out how to do that yet. After 15 years and lots of attention in the media, Twitter hasn't been able to turn much of a profit ever. So why would anyone spend $44 billion? Well, no one would. That's the point. Twitter's been for sale for a long time, and Elon's the first billionaire to want it. And I think he wants it for ego reasons more than profit. But still, that's a lot of money to lose. Looks like that's going to move ahead. It'll take a few months. It's not instant. Around 6 months, because first Twitter has to write it all up, propose it to its shareholders. They have to vote to approve it, which they will probably because they're making money. It's more than the current stock price of Twitter he's offering. And so if they approve it, then it also has to get regulatory approval from the federal government. So there's a few hurdles before it's all over, about 6 months. Then we'll see if Elon has some magic idea to make Twitter a better place. So far, he hasn't demonstrated much expertise. He is one of its biggest tweeters. That's I guess, a start. Unlike the board, he actually uses Twitter, so that's good. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. We can talk high tech, Doesn't have to be about that. It could be about your computer, your printer. I'll tell you about a couple of purchases I made this week. Trying to keep up with the Joneses. 8888 Ask Leo. Website techguylabs.com. She's just sitting there in her telephone booth in the highway, ready to take your call. That would be cute if we got you a little phone booth.
Yes, it would.
Kim Schaffer, our phone angel.
It would be very cute.
Be cute, little booth. We'd have it put a seat in there for you.
Yeah.
Phone would ring with a bell.
Would I have a big, thick telephone book? Maybe I could just sit on that.
Yeah. I always love it in the movies, and it makes them really look dated. It's so easy nowadays to put something in a movie that makes it look dated, where they run to the phone booth to look up, like in The Terminator. Mm-hmm. He runs to the phone booth to look up the address and tears a page out of the phone
Sarah
book.
Connor?
So no one can ever find Sarah Connor again, and better hope it's not a Terminator 2. I always love that scene.
Good movie. I might have to go back to that. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was much better than the subsequent Terminators. So, let us terminate somebody's problem. You got a problem? I'm going to fix it.
I don't know. I think Carmine in Florida wants to chat about this week's big event.
Elon and Twitter?
Elon and Twitter.
Elon and Twitter? Okay. Thank you, Kim. Hello, Carmine. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh.
How you doing?
I am well. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. Nice hot weather down here. So I want to talk to you about Elon Musk and Twitter. Now, first
it's
of all,
all anybody's talking about in the tech world and the journalism world. But I have to ask a question before we go too much farther. Do you use Twitter?
Absolutely.
And do people you know use Twitter?
Yes.
Okay. Because I always feel like it has 350 million users, so that's a good number. I mean, it's a tenth of what Facebook has, but it's a good number. But I always feel like it's maybe gets oversized attention because of the media, constantly talking about what's happening on Twitter.
I feel that way too, but I do use it, and I know a lot of other people that do use it.
Yeah, okay. Good.
So I'd like to start out by acknowledging I know that Twitter is a private company, and they have every right to moderate their content in any way they choose to do so. But however, I, as an American, also have the right to criticize that moderation.
That's true. That is true.
So there's two different things that I have a problem with. Number one is quote-unquote offensive speech. That's extremely subjective. We have people in this country that are offended by David Chappelle documentaries, which is absolutely childish and ridiculous. And we have other people that are not offended by anything. So the second part of my problem is disinformation. Now, there's several things that were labeled disinformation over the past at least a couple of years that were not at least plausible of worthy debate. The biggest example being the COVID-19 came from a Chinese or Wuhan lab. And so the way I see disinformation being handled is, let me give you an example. Let's say somebody put on social media that you don't want to live in Petaluma because it's under constant risk of hurricanes. There'll be 100 other people that retweet that or respond to that tweet saying that is complete nonsense. And
it's earthquakes. Get it straight. Yeah,
there's earthquakes there, but not hurricanes.
Right.
So that's how free speech works. I'd rather have a free exchange of ideas than having some certain people decide what's misinformation and what's not, and what's offensive and what's not.
That's fair.
So how do you? Yeah,
that's fair. I think it's widely misunderstood what Twitter is trying to do. You've probably been on, and it's certainly as long as the internet's been around, they have existed other forums that have gone downhill rapidly. It started with Usenet. Way back in the early days, the flame wars in Usenet got so bad that people just left. You can think of probably a few forums like that and of course there's always 4chan and 8chan. 4chan's a good example. This is a forum which I don't recommend anybody go to. Maybe you're familiar with it. I don't know, Carmine. You know 4chan?
I do not.
Okay. It is a forum where anything goes. Nothing is censored. And what happens is, and by the way, I shouldn't use the word censored. We need a better, nothing's moderated. That's probably a better word for it. What happens is it's like a garden where you don't tend the weeds. It goes pretty quick because the extremes push out the normal people. So I agree if there were civil discussion about stuff that is factually debatable and everybody were civil about it, probably that does not need to be moderated. In fact, there are many people, including some Twitter people, who say, no, moderation is not about what you say, it's how you say it. So Twitter is a business. Their business is to make a place where people want to be, not to shape the conversation. I don't think they intend to shape the conversation, but to make a place where people want to be. In order to do that, we know now from experience, you have to moderate it somehow. You have to weed it so that you'd get rid of the most extreme, hateful, exaggerated stuff, because that pushes out the normal people. And so Twitter is a 15-year journey in trying to figure out how the heck to do that. And I'll be the first to say they don't always do it right. They'll say that they don't always do it right. But they're trying. And the problem Elon has, in my opinion, is he has this kind of dogmatic idea that free speech will fix it all. If everybody's just allowed to speak freely, it'll fix it all. But what he forgets is that spam is protected by free speech. That's free speech. Pornography is free speech. So he says, as long as it's legal, I'm going to allow it. Well, that's how you get to 4chan, a completely out of control place where no one normal wants to be. And that's the problem with making a product. You know, it's a business, making a product that people want to use. 4chan and 8chan exist. In fact, 8chan exists because 4chan was too careful, too moderated, so they wanted an even crazier place. And these are cesspools. I mean, if you just want to see what Twitter might be like with a very light touch or no moderation, but nobody should do this unless they have a very strong stomach. Go look at 4chan. So what Twitter's trying to do, not always perfectly, is create an environment for exactly what you just described. Reasonable discussion between people who are, I mean, if it's afactual, if it's stuff that's made up and not true, like the earth is flat, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even ban that because, most people will just go, yeah, right. So if it's how it's said, not so much even what it's said. Does that make sense?
It does a little, but I just have a problem with who decides that. I mean,
well, somebody has to, right? So who would you have do it?
Well, see, I'd rather have a free exchange of ideas than having one person or a few people decide it. Because
but you agree with me that you have to have moderation?
Well, I agree with you that we have to have moderation at things that are against the law. Like, for example, I can't.
No, but spam's not against the law. So.
Well, Elon Musk said he wants to get rid of the bots.
That's because he doesn't understand what free speech means. He says free speech is anything that's not against the law. Spam is not against the law. Pornography is not against the law. Bots are not against the law. So he's got contradictory statements there. And you're going to have to, in your own mind, resolve that. Do we want spam?
I mean, I personally, if it's there, it's there. I mean, it wouldn't bother me that much. I'd rather have a free exchange of ideas than having...
I agree. If we could have a reasonable exchange of ideas, I agree.
Well, what's reasonable, though? Who decides what's
somebody... This is the question. Do you have to moderate it or not? And I think you do. Then somebody has to be a moderator.
Well, we can moderate based on what the law already states.
Nope, because
spam bots.
Nope, because then you have pornography, bots, and spam.
Well, that's fine.
It's perfectly legal.
What's wrong with that?
Because, like I said, it's weeds, and it will quickly. All you have to do is go to 4chan. There's nothing illegal on 4chan. Nothing illegal on 4chan. It's just not moderated. I think if you look at that, and by the way, there are plenty of other examples. That's the most easy one. You'll see what I mean. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Scott Wilkinson coming up. Did you hit my button there? Yeah, there are places that are free speech. No, Gab's not free speech, nor is Truth Social. They're very actively moderated. I don't know if we had dropout or not. Parler is very actively moderated. You have to be, otherwise it just becomes ads for condos in Florida, the whole thing. The easiest way to prove this is just go to 4chan. Swear to God. You better have a strong stomach. But that is essentially unmoderated. They only remove illegal material. Not very good at that either, by the way, but they try. No one should moderate. It should emulate 4chan. I mean, I'm glad 4chan exists, I guess. I don't know. If you're a free speech absolutist, 4chan has to exist, I guess. Our show today, I'm happy to say, brought to you by Wealthfront. Really like promoting these guys, and I've done this for some years where they've been an advertiser with us. It is very tempting, and there's a lot out there now tempting you to get into cryptocurrencies or NFTs or, buying stocks, diamond hands, holding, and rocket to the moon, all that stuff. And I understand that's fun, it's attractive, but I tell my kids, that's not the way to build wealth over time. You may think day trading is the secret to investing success. Wealthfront actually has a ton of data that proves that time in market almost always beats timing the market. Their globally diversified portfolios automatically optimized to hit the goals you set. So you get to say, here's my time frame, here's my risk. I'm saving for college, I'm saving for a house, I'm saving for retirement, whatever it is. I'm very risk adverse. I want to be safe, or I'd like to maybe get better gains by taking a bigger chance. You get to set that. They do other things that are fantastic. Automatic tax breaks. They call it tax loss harvesting. And in fact, Wealthfront invented it. They have the patent on the software. It's really a very cool technology. You can also personalize your portfolio with a selection of funds handpicked by Wealthfront's financial experts. This is something new they've done because people say, well, I'd like to, be in a more socially responsible fund, for instance, or clean energy or crypto or cannabis or whatever. They have these special funds you can also participate in. Wealthfront has really grown since they started advertising with us. Now, $27 billion in assets. Nearly 500,000 people build their wealth with Wealthfront. Investopedia just named them the best robo-advisor for 2022, which is kind of amazing because we're not even half through the year yet. Congratulations, Wealthfront. Get your first $5,000 managed free for life at wealthfront.com/techguy. WEALTH, wealthfront, FRONT.com/techguy. That's the key phrase. Start building your wealth. And then later, if you want to buy Twitter, go ahead. Wealthfront.com/techguy to get started today. I really appreciate these guys. They do a good job for all of our listeners. And you help us if you go to that address, wealthfront.com/techguy. What is hip? This cat right here, Scott Wilkinson, home theater guru. He is also a contributor at techhive.com. Brand new podcast at AVS Forum. You can follow that on YouTube. Joins us every week to talk about home theater. Hi, Scott.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I am great. NAB,
good.
The National Association of Broadcasters show was this week. Now, as a broadcaster, of course, I'm interested. It's really an engineering show and nowadays, not just for people with towers and, transmitters, but for anybody streaming video and audio.
But yeah, podcasters.
Sure. Yeah.
You and I used to go to that show and do live coverage from there and stuff. It was great.
Yeah.
Now, people ask me often, why are you even covering National Association of Broadcasters? That's the professionals. We're consumers. Well, what the professionals do affects what we the consumer, see and hear. So it's important, I think, to keep up with what they're doing because that will eventually end up affecting how we consume content.
It's also a growing contingent of people. Pretty soon it'll be everybody who are doing their own content.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Now, not everybody can afford to go to NAB. But still, what is shown there, what is introduced there, it's kind of like the CES for professionals.
Yeah.
So I didn't go this year, but my
That's
friend,
the real reason people go, because it's kind of cool stuff, right?
It's got cool stuff.
We don't have to make all sorts of rationales. It's cool.
That's right. It's cool. It is cool.
It's fun.
It is.
It's gadgets. Yeah.
Now, I didn't go, but our friend Mike Heiss did. And he gave me a lot of good notes on some interesting stuff that was happening there. First of all, he said the attendance was a bit over $55,000.
That's good.
55,000 people.
That's good. Is that normal?
No, it's about half of normal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it's still good.
Still a good number, yeah.
It's still a pretty good number. He said, on the other hand, I learned there was upwards of 100,000 people in Vegas for the NFL draft at the same time.
Yeah, well,
So,
that doesn't surprise me. I think the NFL is probably more popular.
More popular than NAB. Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, it's not
I
a
would say
surprise.
so.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of ATSC 3.0 news. And as we know, ATSC 3.0 is the next generation of over-the-air broadcasting, television broadcasting. And more TVs have the tuners in them. We're going to see a lot more coming up.
TVs have See, we dropped the tuners. Right? 30 years ago, they stopped putting tuners in TVs.
No. In fact, by definition,
it's not a TV unless, yeah,
that's right. If it doesn't have a tuner in it, it's really more of a monitor.
So that's funny because I guess I have lots of TVs, but I've never connected them.
Never connected
to anything that needs a tuner.
To an antenna. Yeah, right, exactly.
A tuner so you can go to channel 2, 3, 4, 5. I get all those channels, but over the internet, not through the TV.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, one of the interesting things is that ATSC 3.0 actually delivers digital audio and video content as IP, Internet Protocol.
Yeah.
So
you need an internet connection.
No, you don't. You don't, actually. It's coming over the air.
IP over the air. Oh, so it's data.
IP over the air, so it's data. Now, the transition from analog to digital was just that, analog to digital, but it was digital video and audio information. It was not packetized. IP takes all that information and puts it in little packets and sends those little packets, and that's what's happening here. And it allows a lot of things. It allows something called one-to-many, so and limited distribution. So you can, for example, say, I'm interested in my district supervisor race, and the broadcaster will put all the different races, political races, into the stream, and you can then tune which one you want to see. So it's much more personalizable. You can get exactly what you want, or football scores. I'm interested in my high school football, and I don't care about that other high school football, and so you can tune in that particular thing. It also allows for more targeted ads, as we have seen on the internet now for quite some time. They track where you go. Right. And so they send you ads, you're just shopping for a purse. Well, here's a bunch of ads for purses. And that is going to come in ATSC 3.0 as well to some degree, because they're going to watch what you watch. And they're going to say, okay, let's send ads about that. Now, you mentioned tuners in TVs, and certainly virtually all TVs have tuners, and more of them are going to have ATSC 3.0 tuners. But you can also get set-top boxes, separate boxes. Like, remember in the analog to digital transition, you could get a set-top box that converted the analog to digital, and sometimes set-top or separate digital tuners. Now you can get ATSC 3.0 tuners. ZapperBox was one there at the show. Mike identified $200 two-tuner box with eventually the potential for DVR, being able to record shows that come over the air. What was another one? He said that the ZapperBox looked very good. And Tableau is another one that you might have heard of that is going to have an HDMI 2.1 connection to the TV. And this is an interesting thing, too. The box will need an HDMI 2.1 connection to the TV, unlike earlier Tableau devices, which brought in the signal from the antenna and then distributed it over your home over Wi-Fi or your home network, which you could still do theoretically. But the issue of DRM, the ugly issue of DRM, raises its head. And
Copy protection.
Copy protection, digital rights management, exactly. And so now these new boxes that are going to be coming out will require you to have a hardwire HDMI connection from the box to your TV. No more whole home distribution.
See, everything you've said so far makes me not want this. Am I wrong? This is clearly designed for the benefit of broadcasters, not for viewers. In my opinion, we get everything.
I would have to say
we don't need it.
Well, yes, except that it's free.
Free, but you got to get a new TV and you got to get a new tuner. It's not exactly free.
No. If you get a new TV, you're going to get the
free
tuner
with
anyway.
a new TV. The other thing that I should point out is it's not ubiquitous yet. It's slowly rolling out across the country.
Correct. It's in 60, 70 markets
Have
right
you
now.
seen any ATSC3 programming, and have you noticed any difference?
No.
No.
I have not seen it.
Okay.
Not that I haven't noticed any difference. I have not seen it. So I don't really know. There was one announcement that Technicolor talked about HDR over the air. And they've got a new, they've had it for some years called Advanced HDR by Technicolor.
It's all playing catch up. That's what I don't get.
Well, yes, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. But as you and I have mentioned many times, the picture quality of over the air is generally better than cable.
Yeah.
And
so
even
HDR and Atmos in high def.
all that
4K.
stuff. Mm-hmm.
Although so far as I know, none of the ATSC3 stations have broadcast in 4K. Maybe occasionally. Really, they're using that extra bandwidth to do multiple channels. You can't do both.
True. However, there was another interesting announcement at NAB that addresses that issue, which is called MIMO, M-I-M-O, multi-input, multi-output. Basically, what it's what it does, we'll have to do it next time. Yeah.
By the way, Mike Mann is saying in our Discord that KTLA does do 4K, which I'll have to see. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott Wilkinson. Leo Laporte,
You
the
bet.
tech guy. More calls coming up. So do they do it all the time, or do they only do it some of the time?
Oh, hey, Mike Mann. Good to see you, man.
Yeah. I think a lot of people want to use the extra channels, right? Because there's more revenue opportunity.
Correct.
Right.
But this MIMO thing, I'm sorry I didn't get to talk about that on the air. It's really interesting and it's very technical. They can take the broadcast signal and they can encode one channel on the horizontally polarized EM wave and another channel on the vertically polarized
cool.
EM wave.
Okay.
Or they can take those two polarizations and transmit more data. NHK was showing, I think it was NHK, it might have been Korea, I think it was Korea, was showing 8K broadcasting over the air, over ATSC 3.0, using this bandwidth doubling technique.
Okay, then that's cool.
Yeah.
I am going to let you talk.
Why, thank you.
Yes.
Mike B says, picture quality may be better than cable, but fiber is pretty close to OTA. That may be true. I have never really seen, I've never had fiber in my house. I don't now, unfortunately, because they don't service, doesn't come to this area. But that may very well be true. That may very well be true. So I guess Mike Mann is in the chat room. Nice to see you, Mike. I hope all is well with you. Beatmaster, shouldn't 8K use 4 times the 4K bandwidth? Yes. However, another thing I didn't get to talk about, time is so short, is that the codec efficiency is increasing exponentially. And Mike Heiss saw some examples of 1080p at 9 megabits per second next to 4K at 9 megabits per second with a more efficient codec. and the quality of the 4K apparently was better. Mike, if you're in the chat room, please verify that for me. But I saw a photo that he took of a side-by-side comparison, and it was, looked really good. So it's not necessarily so that 4K really requires 4 times the bandwidth of 1080p, and 8K requires 4 times the bandwidth of 4K, because if you use a more efficient codec, then you can actually squeeze that much information down the same size pipe. We can only hope. Let's see. MacBookie is saying, following on my question of last week regarding short throw versus long throw, why do most home theaters use long throw if short throw have many benefits? Well, that's a very good question. Like I think I said last week, short throw has to overcome a problem that long throw doesn't, which is keystoning. And by that, I mean, if you're a short throw projector and you're right up against the wall and you're aiming your light way up, the image is going to be the outline of the image is going to be very distorted, and you need to correct that. And you can do that optically, or you can do that electronically. And the projectors that do it optically are better than the ones that do it electronically, but that requires special lenses, and lenses are never cheap.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Joey on the line from San Diego. Hi, Joey.
Hey, Leo. Thanks for taking my call. And I thank you for everything that you do for us.
Well, I thank you for calling. What can I do for you?
A couple of things, Leo. I don't really have a tech question. I just wanted to. I like to call you and share my thoughts about different stuff. Well, first off, I want to thank you because last time I called you about 10 months ago, Leo, we were talking about audio, and you brought Scott in, and you put my call on your site afterwards, and I was so touched.
Oh, you're flattered. That's good. Yeah, must have been the call of the week. That's good.
Exactly. You gave me 2 minutes of fame, Leo.
My pleasure, Joey.
I was watching a documentary on Netflix last night, and it just brought to me about 10 failures. I want to talk about like 10 different business failures if we can get to a couple.
Was that the documentary about business failures?
It was a documentary about Blockbuster.
Oh, yeah, they went out with a bang.
Netflix.
But there's a good example. Blockbuster was a video cassette rental company. That's not a good business to be in nowadays.
And Leo, Netflix walked into their offices and begged them to buy them for $50 million.
Yeah.
They told them, nope, go away. They kicked them out.
There's a famous book by Christensen called The Innovator's Dilemma. And this is what is going on, which is if you are making money in an existing ongoing business, you're what we call an incumbent. It's very hard for you to embrace something that is going to come in the future for sure. I'm sure Blockbuster knew that the video cassette rental business wasn't a lifetime annuity, but it's still very hard to cannibalize your existing business in order to jump into a new one.
Leo, you got to think too. The internet wasn't that good then.
Right. They might have had some reasons for saying, well, Netflix will never make it. But honestly, the real thing is we're doing just fine right now. And we don't want to do anything to jeopardize it.
Stores or something like that. They were on top of the world.
Here's a modern example. It's very good. CNN, which makes almost all of its money from fees from cable operators. Now, they know that the future is streaming. And they would very much like to jump from cable to streaming and charge people $5 a month. They'd make more money. But they can't do that without getting the cable operators mad at them and risking their current income. So they did launch something called CNN Plus, a streaming solution. They only got 10,000 daily viewers because they had no live news on it. Why didn't they have live news? Innovator's Dilemma. They didn't want to cannibalize their existing business. And if they put live news on, the risk was they would lose all those cable operators. There's another famous example, which is Kodak. Kodak made all of its money in selling film and photo processing.
Right.
They knew digital was coming. In fact, they even were one of the first companies to make a digital camera. They knew it was coming. They had full knowledge our lunch is about to be eaten. And so very famously, they started to push digital. And in fact, Kodak, had a digital business. They bought something called OPhoto, which was an online photo sharing and printing site. It was kind of number one at the time. They really had a digital strategy. But here was their problem. There wasn't as much revenue in digital as there was in photo processing and selling film. And they couldn't survive as a business when they made the move to digital.
I think, and newspapers are another one.
Look at that, right? I mean,
they saw the internet coming, but like you just said, they couldn't make money in advertising.
Yeah, what are they going to do? So there's a few counterexamples. The New York Times and the Washington Post have both done well in the digital environment, but that's a handful compared to the hundreds of newspapers that went out of business all across the country.
But Leo, you got to think Blockbuster would still be around, maybe in even their physical stores in big cities, like New York or Los Angeles, to where they have enough people that they could sell Blu-ray disc or not.
Yeah. Well, there's Redbox, right? Most towns have a Redbox out in front of the drugstore where you can get a DVD. Right. But I have to think that's not a good business going forward. That's why, when Scott was talking about this new ATSC 3, it's very interesting because here's, broadcast television channels trying to survive in a digital world. So is this the right strategy for them to design kind of a catch-up technology using transmitters and towers? Is this going to save them?
That's what I love about you, because you're all over it. You're saying this. You scan what's his name? This is a waste of time. They're trying to catch up. It's too late now.
I feel like it is, because they're trying to catch up with something you already have on the internet.
Exactly.
And Scott said, well, it's free. That's a good point. It's free. And by the way, free broadcast is still the best quality, as he pointed out, quality of video. But I don't think most people care, honestly. It's going to be very interesting. We live in a very interesting time, because what's happening is a very rapid. You don't normally get to see this. When the Industrial Revolution happened, and machines came in and took away jobs from humans, it took 100, 200 years. When the printing press came in, it took 400 years. But we're seeing this all happen in a lifetime, and so we're living in very interesting times. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So that's what we're watching.
Hey, Leo, I've got a couple other failures I want to hit you with.
Yes.
Okay. IBM failed to allow Bill Gates to license the software.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah. So that was an interesting story. They were building their first PC, which turned out to be very, very successful. But Bill Gates was a smart businessman. He said, look.
And they had the Warp 2 software too, right?
Yeah, they had OS 2. He said to IBM, I'm not going to sell you DOS. I'm going to let you license it. You pay me just a small fee for every copy sold. And it made Microsoft a very, very big pot of money.
It sure did.
Don't count IBM out. Every time I mention that, my friend John C. Dvorak says, yeah, but IBM still has a lot of patents. So they're not dead yet. They're an interesting company that's trying to struggle. You know who's really done an interesting job? Microsoft. Because they realize Windows and Office, people aren't going to be buying those forever.
Leo, their failure was they wouldn't go to the cell phones. They wouldn't.
Oh yeah, they lost in this. Yeah, they lost a mobile.
What's his name?
They fumbled that. Yeah, they fumbled that. That's right. That's Steve Ballmer lost that one.
They had done that.
Yeah. But so Satya Nadella comes in 6 years ago, their new CEO, and he's from the cloud side. He ran Azure, and he said the future's in the cloud. The quarterly results that just came out from Microsoft, fully half of their revenue now is from the cloud. This is a company that has done the thing that is, I think, very rare, which is make that transition. There's so many companies like Radio Shack that didn't.
And another thing they did too, Leo, was when they bailed out Apple. I mean,
they saved Apple. You're right. They did. Let's not forget that.
Well, that got them a lot of money. I mean,
you know why they did that? Antitrust regulations. They could not afford to not have competition. So very famously, Steve Jobs came back to Apple, realized they only had about 3 months left of money. They were going to go bankrupt back in, what was this, 95? And they're 98. 98?
It was 97, 98.
Yeah, when he came back. And his first time giving a keynote, Bill Gates comes on the stage, looming over him. Not on stage, he's on a screen, looming over him, saying, "I'm going to give you $150 million." And it really wasn't out of the goodness of his heart. Bill Gates was no fool. It was about
it never is.
keeping regulation off his back.
Business.
Yeah. Business is hard, though. You see how hard it is, don't you? You see how hard it is.
Yeah.
And when you build a business with a way of doing business in mind, and then the rug gets pulled out from under you, sometimes very hard to make that pivot.
Right.
What's the name of the documentary? I want to watch that. Do you remember?
It's on it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's Blockbuster on Netflix.
Oh, it's about Blockbuster. Yeah, I'm going to watch that. That's fascinating.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not a business expert, but I do find it kind of fascinating from a distance.
Well, you're a sports fan though, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that the Winnipeg Jets, the hockey NHL team, they passed on Wayne Gretzky? Did you know that?
That's an example of you always got to steer to where the puck is going, right, Joey? Not where it is now, where it's going. Joey, always a pleasure. Thank you for calling. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls right after this. It's called The Last Blockbuster in America, which is still running, I think, isn't it up in Oregon? Or where is it, Joey?
Yep, Oregon.
It's in Bend.
City, yeah. Bend, Oregon. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Leo, can you imagine where they'd be if they had bought?
Yeah, but how did you know that Netflix was going to be the one? There were plenty of, what if you'd bought Quibi? There are plenty of examples. You don't know. It's easy now for us to say, if they'd only bought Netflix. But who knew, right? Who knew? Hey, I got to run. It's Scott Wilkinson's Time in the Sun. Joey, always a pleasure. Thank you.
My call.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. All right, now it's yours, Scotty.
Hey, thanks so much. That guy's interesting.
I love Joey. He always has interesting things to say.
He's great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hey, everybody. Nice to see you all. iTech says, I don't know if you mentioned this and I missed it, but what about broadcast TV stations encrypting their signals starting in the summer? I had not heard that.
What a surprise, huh?
Mike Heiss, you probably know more about this than I do. So if you're still in the chat room, chime in here. That would be bad. They're trying to deal with copy protection, and everyone knows how Leo feels about copy protection, and I'm more or less in that same camp. Hey, Loquacious V2, good to see you. Redacted. Yeah, I changed my shelf a little bit each time. I'm still working on the set. So just to keep you on your toes, see if you can spot the differences. And Mike Heiss says, OTA is, by law and regulation, free to air. The DRM is to protect the content between the transmitter and the receiver. So there you go. I thought that was probably the case. And he asked about that at NAB, as a matter of fact. Well, there you go. Let's see. Gary's asking, do you see any growth in Roku in the future? My crystal ball is kind of cloudy on that. Roku is certainly one of the big streaming platforms, my favorite, actually. So, hard to say. Can all these streaming platforms, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, NVIDIA, Google TV, can they all survive? It's a very good question. And if they can't, which ones are going to go under? I think it would be difficult to predict that Roku would go under, but one never knows. Yeah, Doug M. Lunch is never free. Well, unless you're a journalist, sometimes it is. To you, anyway. Kay Woods, good to see you. Happy weekend to you as well. Kay Woods, what happened to Chromecast? Well, it's still around, but I don't hear much about it these days. That's a very good point. That could be an example of one that didn't quite make it. Joe says Roku's growth will come from RAF, Roku Ad Framework. Well, now ads, there you go. Netflix and a lot of these companies. We talked about this on my podcast last Tuesday. Barb Gonzalez was on, and she's a streaming expert. And, she was talking about how a lot of these streaming providers, as opposed to platforms, are adding or offering a less expensive ad-supported tier to their offerings. And so we're going to see more of that. And maybe Roku itself as a platform will be doing ads too. I need to look into that. That is a very interesting question, whether the platform will be offering ads, forcing ads upon you, as it were. So let's see. Web 2290 says, I have an ad blocker firewall. Roku ads are being blocked. Well, there you go. So it's this constant battle between consumers who don't want ads and providers who must send you ads one way or another in order to survive. It's a real balancing act because the money needs to come from somewhere. So either you pay a lot in a subscription or you watch ads. For example, here's an example from my own experience. My wife and I have been watching the rebooted version of the show Kung Fu, which started out really good. Season 1 was excellent. Season 2 has gone downhill quite a bit. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the only way to get it on Xfinity cable is on a standard definition channel that has the incorrect aspect ratio. Man, that's frustrating. I can get it in HD at the correct aspect ratio, but only streaming. And the streaming option has fast forward disabled, so I can't zip past the commercials. So, do I want to watch it in standard def and a funky aspect ratio, which looks super soft and really bad, essentially unwatchable in my opinion? Or do I want to watch it in a nice, in the proper aspect ratio and high definition and have to sit through the ads? That's a devil's bargain, if you ask me. The Sue the Writer, I'm sorry. Maybe you'll feel differently about season 2. Season 1 was excellent, really excellent. And season 2, well, I don't want to give you too many spoilers since the Sue the Writer has just started season 2. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. If you disagree with me, I'm all about it. Scooter X, can't you watch it on KTLA? Well, no, since I'm not in LA anymore.
Do you want to change your lower third to reflect the? We should probably do that.
We should probably do that.
What do you want it to say? YouTube.com/AVS Forum.
AVS Forum, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Exactamundo.
Totally do that.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking that during the show.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken a bit of a hiatus from Tech Hive, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to be back there.
No, but it's good to promote the new thing.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. If you could say
just like that.
Yeah, sure. That's awesome. Thanks, man.
Sure.
Let's see. The Sue the Writer. I'm very sensitive to broadcast quality. That's true. I will let you know when I catch up on Kung Fu. Yes, please do. Let's see. Phoenix Warp 1, Star Trek Strange New Worlds debuts later this week. Any interest? Yes, absolutely. Where is it? I need to go find it. I'm not sure exactly. It must be on Paramount, right? That must be where it is. Scooter X, yes, on the CW app. That's exactly right. That's where I watch it. Well, not the CW app. I watch it on Xfinity on demand, but that's essentially the CW app. Although, you know what? Maybe there's a difference. I might have to go look on the CW app and see if I can zip past commercials. I would doubt it. I would be very strange. That would be unusual if that were possible. Mike B., I have called Comcast and complained. And I even called the station, the call letters of which I don't remember now, but it's in Monterey. And they actually responded and said they would look into it. And then they wrote me back and said, have we fixed it? And I went and looked. No, haven't fixed it. Okay, have we fixed it now? No, haven't fixed it yet. I haven't heard back from Comcast, which is not that surprising. But a smaller TV station, I actually heard back from them, and that was cool. The Sue the Writer, yeah, Paramount Plus has all the Star Trek shows.
Okay, sir. Gonna let you go.
Thank you so much.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Thank you, sir. Saving Better Call Saul till all the episodes. I want to binge it. We finished Slow Horses. That was really good on Apple TV Plus. That was very, very good. First thing I've seen on Apple TV Plus where I said, okay, they finally figured it out. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches. You know, the usual litany of technology surrounding us, imbuing our life with excitement and frustration simultaneously in equal parts. 8888 Ask Leo's the phone number, 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still call. Just use Skype out. Shouldn't cost you anything. We put links to things we talk about on the website at techguylabs.com, techguylabs.com. Robert on the line from Ventura. He's next. Hi, Robert.
Hi.
I'm sorry to keep you on hold for so darn long, but thank you for your patience.
That's all right. Let me take it off speaker.
Sure. This is as bad as calling Dell tech support. I apologize.
Well, it wasn't Dell. Here's my problem. It's not nowhere near what Elon Musk is dealing with, fortunately. Or maybe not fortunately.
I don't know. I could live with 270 billion, you know. Yeah.
I wouldn't even answer a phone if I had that. Anyway, I'm trying to get into my email account. We have a kind of a legacy account, a Prodigy.net, which dates me a little bit. But
wow, and it still works?
Yeah, it goes.
Wow. So somebody obviously, Prodigy is a kind of legendary, almost like a unicorn or a mermaid internet service that dates back to the 70s and 80s. It was maybe the 80s. Let's not go too far. But it was kind of at the same time as CompuServe and Genie. When instead of the public internet, you had kind of your own little service. AOL was the biggest of them, and Prodigy was cool because it was very graphical. I think it was based on the French Minitel, so it had this kind of very graphical look. Well, that's cool. So you've had this address since you had Prodigy.
I have, and I've had the same cell phone provider, which is AT. Can I mention the name?
Yes, AT&T.
Yeah, with another T.
Okay.
And what happened was, I think what they do originally.
So AT&T must have bought the Prodigy customers. So right? So or did? Yeah.
Let me just say it goes to Yahoo.
Oh, wait a minute. Now it looks like it is it. So yeah, because AT&T also bought Yahoo.
And now I'm looking at it, and it says currently.com. So it says AT&T and then Yahoo and currently.com.
Yeah.
I have no clue who's running this thing.
Oh, my golly. And so can you log in with your old credentials, or did they send you new credentials, or how does that work?
Well, so my wife and I both have, and this is why I haven't got rid of it, is she has this account. She wants to keep her email address.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. So she doesn't want to lose that Prodigy, .net address. Currently is what AT&T calls their email. That's all. AT&T, Yahoo. So it's I'm looking at it. It's currently .att.yahoo.com.
Well,
Okay.
so yesterday, mine went down. My wife
Oh, no.
has hers.
It says AT&T Mail users, if you are having login issues, please try again shortly. We've identified an issue and expect a resolution soon.
Well, that resolution was first an hour away, then it was 3 to 5 hours, then the call was try the next morning, which was today. Now it's 24 to 48 hours.
Well,
which
yikes.
is insane.
Yeah. So this is the problem. And by the way, you're not alone, not just the Prodigy folks, but people with Yahoo Mail, AT&T Mail. This is becoming, over the last month or two, the most common question I'm getting. And it's all because these companies got sold and sold again, and they moved on. And anytime you're moving a system from one company to another, you're going to have problems like this. Once they get it onto their servers, it should continue to operate just fine. There's no reason. She doesn't care about the user interface. Does she use an email program, or does she go through on the web?
We go through, I go through Firefox to Yahoo to the email. I'm not sure what.
So you're seeing, so that's the web. So you're seeing a website that has your email in it. All of that should work just fine. You might get some user interface changes. Prodigy.net is still down, I see, according to, is it down right now? It's been going up and down, which is interesting. So they're clearly in a migration to a new system, which you would expect at some point. They want to get it off of whatever servers, maybe the Yahoo servers, and onto the currently servers. And with any luck, this will happen. It'll be a disruption now for a little while, and then once it gets back up, it'll be fine. It's almost as if the road you take to work is being moved to another location. And so there's going to be this interruption when the road is broken. But once it's reopened, then you should be all right. I mean, there's nothing I could do to fix it.
Yeah. I just thought, well, maybe someone else was dealing with this same problem.
Yeah, everybody is. Everybody with a Prodigy.net address is currently down.
Well, see, this is the problem. My wife, who has Prodigy.net, is not down. And I can log in with a Apple device and get to my email address page where it has all your inbox, and it shows my last email that came in yesterday morning.
Here's the good
at
news.
9 a.m.
Yeah, so yours is not down that you can't log in, but you're not getting any new mail. So it says might as well be down. All that mail you will get. Nothing will be lost.
Okay.
That's the good news. The servers that are sending that mail are holding it. They'll be trying every 5 minutes. Can I get it there? No. They may at some point say to the sender, hey, I couldn't deliver this, but it won't happen right away. It might take a day. They'll try a certain number of times, but you probably won't lose anything. If Prodigy, or Yahoo, AT&T get their act together, they're moving it is what they're doing, I think. And it takes time for this to propagate through the systems. That's why yours is sort of working. Your wife's is not working at all. It has to propagate through the system. Honestly, I know your wife loves this email address. One proactive thing you could do is have that email address forward to another service that isn't going to go down, like Google's Gmail, or that's free, or pay for. I think people should, if you really care about email, you should pay for it. So they're paid services. And it's easy to get to set Prodigy to say, hey, when you get mail, just send it over here. That way, if Prodigy goes down, you won't get the mail sent to Prodigy, but you can at least tell people, hey, send it to my Gmail address for the time being. The Prodigy service is down for right now. That's about the only thing, aside from moving away from Prodigy, that you could do.
I see.
Yeah.
So
you just have to wait. Forward it.
You can send your existing address to like a Gmail.
Yeah, there'll be a setting in the. I'm presuming, I haven't used Prodigy Mail in probably 30 years, but I'm presuming there's going to be a setting in there that will say, yeah, forward my mail to Gmail. You also can set up Gmail to get your mail from Prodigy. Gmail has in the forwarding and IMAP settings in Gmail, you can say, yeah, here's my Prodigy login. Just get my email from there. And then that way you only have to check Gmail. You can continue to send outbound mail as long as Gmail doesn't go down. Now, Gmail might go down, but I think Gmail is probably a safe bet compared to Prodigy for sure. In 30 years, call me in 30 years. We'll talk about a replacement. But for now,
I hope I can.
I hope you can too, my friend.
Okay.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. There are people out there with AOL.com email, Prodigy.net. That's the first time I've heard about that. CompuServe.com. These old addresses, because they don't have to go away. The servers can go away. The companies can go away. But the way the system works, the phone book that looks up the email works, it's easy to just change it and say, well, yeah, don't send it to CompuServe settings server anymore. Don't send it to Prodigy's server anymore. Send it over here. That's an easy thing to fix. So the companies do that, and that way they don't lose these subscribers who've been there for decades. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. More calls still to come. 5:30, Johnny Jett, travel guru, joins us. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy Show. No, Sunshine, come back. Come back. Don't listen to him. Let's get some more sunshine. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy, 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Chris on the line from Rancho Cucamonga. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Leo. Thanks for taking my call. I have a problem, and so does my wife, and it has to do with Bing. I've spent years avoiding Bing, and for some reason now on both of our computers, she has an all-in-one, and I've got a Lenovo ThinkPad that I use for work. When I do a Google search, it comes back with Bing.
What? I know. This is Microsoft's brilliant business strategy. Wow.
Yeah. So if I do, for instance, I was trying to look something up the other day. Russia, which has made $66 billion in selling petroleum products.
Isn't that sad? Yeah. Thank you, Europe and Germany. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. So I look it up, and what comes back is Bing.com news.
So this is, which is, not the best news source in the world. It is from Microsoft. Bing is their search engine, which is essentially kind of Yahoo search rewrapped by Microsoft. So a couple of things could have done that. When you downloaded Edge, Microsoft's browser can change it. Windows 11 uses Bing by default. Probably you did a Windows update, and Microsoft sneakily changed it, which is rude, but it's easy to fix.
Well, let's fix it, because my web browser, it says, is Google Chrome, but when I go into Internet properties, it says to create homepage tabs, type each address on its own line, and it has msn.com.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say anything about Bing. But when I go to DuckDuckGo, Bing does not come up.
Right. DuckDuckGo is a very nice search engine designed to be kind of privacy forward. So there are, as you know now, many, many choices. So which browser are you using? I'll tell you what, I'm going to put an article in our show notes that tells you how to change it for all browsers one by one. You have to go into the browsers and change them one by one. It's very annoying to me. In fact, Microsoft's really gotten more aggressive on pushing their Edge browser on people and their Bing search engine, and I find it very annoying. If you're using Edge, it's in the settings and more menu, and there's a section on privacy, search, and services, and then you can choose what search engine is used in the address bar. In Chrome, it's pretty similar. It's under settings, search engine. There's a manage search engines tab, and in Firefox, pretty much the same. Settings, search.
Check it out.
Yeah. So it's all per browser. It's per browser. So go into the browser and change it.
Okay, yes, it was Chrome. I had it on Chrome.
Yeah. Well, but the question is which browser program you're using. And my guess is Microsoft's pushing very hard for everybody to use their browser, Edge, which is based on Google's Chromium, but is, Edgeified, including some Microsoft features that make them money. And, of course, they make money if you use Bing search, so they want you to use Bing.
And then I'll tell you, though, also when I'm using Microsoft Bing, it doesn't come up with as many results as I'm looking for, like when I use Google.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is the problem. And I say unfortunately because Google's so dominant, it's very hard to compete because they have now almost 2 decades worth of search indexing under their belt. They've searched, they've indexed the entire internet, and so they're completely dominant. They are the best results. So it's hard for somebody to come along and say, well, we're going to be better. DuckDuckGo is trying, and they're getting better and better. Bing has tried, and I think Bing is a little hobbled by Microsoft's desire to make money off of it.
Right.
So, yeah, I would, Bing's fine. What you'll also notice in those sections is you can prefix any search with a letter or two that will say, use Bing this time, or use Chrome this time, or use DuckDuckGo this time. All of the search engines will allow you to do that. So you can, if you don't say, it'll automatically default to whatever your default is. I guess you want Google's search engine. But you can also, without changing the default, say, for this search, just do DuckDuckGo. So, I think everybody has the right to use the search engine they want. Microsoft has increasingly with Windows, and frankly, I'm unhappy about it, has increasingly pushed you in the direction of tools that make them money. And just as we were talking last hour, I think it's unfortunate. I guess it's inevitable it's capitalism, right? That companies are going to do something that favors their financial success over the user's interests. But it's my job to represent in this battle the user. We're users, and we want our computers to behave the way we want, not to make the most money for the company that built the software or the hardware, but what we want. And so that's really I guess in the capitalist society, that's a natural tension. But Microsoft, so it's a balance, right? And you don't, as any company, you don't want to look like you're anti-consumer. But plenty of companies make consumer hostile moves. Apple took the headphone jack off of its phones, so you'd have to buy their Bluetooth headphones. That is not for our benefit. That is for their benefit. In fact, Nilay Patel, my colleague at The Verge, famously called it a user hostile move. Well, it happens all the time in technology, unfortunately. And there's really nothing we can do about it except that it's my job, and I will continue to represent the user in this battle. Look, the companies need to make money. I'm not trying to put them out of business. I don't want to put Microsoft out of business. But it is one of the reasons I prefer the Linux operating system, because there is no company trying to make money off of it. Everything that's done on Linux operating system, because it's free and open source and created by enthusiasts for users, is designed around what the user wants. That's the whole design precept for it. There's at no point anything done to make money for the company, because there is no company. Now, as a result, Linux can be kind of hard and tricky and techie because it's techies doing it. So a lot of people still prefer Mac and Windows. But honestly, I kind of like working in an environment where it's the consumers deciding their fate. And that's nothing you would ever see, for instance, on Linux, is an operating system or a browser just willy-nilly saying, no, you should use our search engine. You should use Bing. Just use Bing. Bing's better. Microsoft's made a lot of moves to force you to use Edge, their browser. Try to use Chrome on Windows 11 and it's going to complain. No! Leo Laporte, the tech guy. He is not the U.S. Postal Service. He is Johnny Jet. And we had this song first. I just want to say he's our traveling guru. JohnnyJet.com joins us every week to help us travel better with technology. And we are getting back on the road. America is traveling again. Hallelujah.
We are.
Hello,
We are.
John. Yes.
I think it was 2.2 went through TSA yesterday, but 2019, 3 years ago, was 2.5. So we still, there's days where we're right there, and there's days where we're just a little bit behind.
I think this summer is going to be huge. We're still watching. There's a little COVID BA2 spike, especially in back east in the Northeast. So we're watching that. But man, barring anything unusual, I think we're going to be heading out in a couple of months.
Well, I was supposed to be on a plane right now to
Where were you
New
going?
York, to Newark, and then Connecticut,
Yes,
and
I
then
wouldn't
Boston.
go there right now. Yeah.
And so this morning I canceled my ticket because I was looking at the numbers. I was like, you know what? They're spiking there, and I was going to go see family. They've all been at parties. I'm like, you know what? I'm not bringing COVID back to my kids.
Good. Yeah, my mom said don't come visit in Rhode Island because of the spike. And I said,
But
all right, Mom.
we're supposed to go to Rhode Island in a few weeks. So
Yeah.
But I did learn some stuff, by the way, from this ticket. I had a credit on JetBlue that I needed to use by the end of the month.
Yeah.
So I booked Mint using this credit because
I love
originally
Mint.
had it for 3 of my kids.
I love Mint.
Or 2 of my kids
This
and my
is
wife.
JetBlue's lie flat to Boston.
Or to New York or to Florida, wherever.
Nice.
They fly the plane a lot.
I love Mint.
I do too, but JetBlue is actually fallen down from the top. They used to be always a fan favorite. They've had some serious problems.
When they first launched, it
with
was
staffing.
so cool. They were the first. They had a screen in every seat. They did a lot of things, leather seats. They did a lot of things right. But now
They still do things right.
Yeah.
They have the most legroom out of anyone in coach.
Nice.
But the problem is they've just been understaffing and over scheduling.
Well, that's how every airline is these days. Yes.
They are. They've now cut back 10%. But my thing is, I was trying to buy this ticket 2 days ago, and there was nothing available for cheap to New York or Newark. I'm talking, it's 3 to 5 times the price it was 2 months ago in any class of service. Coach is $500 each way. Business goes between, $1,100 to $4,400, or actually $4,700 one way.
Wow.
Not just Mint. That's American Airlines first class, but
Well,
crazy
so Mint
numbers.
is basically JetBlue's first class, right?
It is.
Yeah.
They have lie flat seats. They're, on this route, they do 2-1-2-1-2. So if you're flying by yourself, you want to get that single seat because you have your own little, basically your own little pod.
It's quite a luxury, though, because these are only cross-country flights, so they're only 5 to 7 hours. So it's kind of a luxury. I think if you're flying overnight to, far, far away,
Agreed.
it's really nice to be able to lie flat. They're very expensive.
But I was able to get 3 Mint seats for $1,400 right
That's
before
a
the
good deal.
pandemic.
That's a good deal.
great deal. I mean,
Yeah.
that's cheaper than
That's
Coach.
Yeah.
And when you factor in checked bags and food and seat assignments, you're saving money. So always look at first class. But if you're booking last minute these days, you're not going to get a deal. You really need to book in advance. So do that. Although I was flying back from Boston, and Boston was a lot cheaper. I was able to get a coach ticket on American for $320.
Yeah, I think it kind of depends where you're going, right?
Correct.
Because
But
I got very inexpensive flights to Seattle, but I was flying out of our small regional airport up here in Santa Rosa, and that was only $250. So it really just depends. It really does.
Look around at different airports. Alternate airports are the key.
Yeah.
But anyway, that American Airlines, when I booked that flight, right before I booked it, they said, would you like to upgrade to first class for $791? I was like, hard no.
That's a lot.
So I pressed purchase. I went into my itinerary, and it said, would you like to upgrade to first class or to business class for $290?
Oh.
This is a minute after. This is 1 minute later.
Wow.
So if you want to save $500, do not take the first offer and then take the second. But I didn't take it either because I have executive platinum status, and I saw that the flight was wide open in business. And 43 minutes later, I got an email saying you're confirmed in business class.
Nice.
For free.
Nice. For free. So you saved
for free.
$799.
Yeah, I wasn't going to pay it anyway, but that's
good.
a little trick that I learned this morning.
Yes. Hold out.
Hold out.
That's a good trick. Hold out.
And because there's not so many business travelers flying, and especially over the summer, there's not going to be. Always price out first class, and then ask when you get to the gate, see if they're offering any cheap upgrades, and factor it in, or do it in advance so you don't have to pay for the baggage.
Nice.
When you're at the counter.
Nice.
Do you want to talk about this clock, or we'll just?
Yeah, no, this is cute. I have it up here. This is kind of a clever kind of a clock. It's been around for some time. Tell us about it.
Yes. Well, it's a long URL, so you have to look at the show notes or on Twitter or the chat room, but it has 5 Google Earth images, and it just zooms in on it, and it picks a
image that looks like a number. So 12:38, and each of them is really just an Earth, a building or an island or something that's an attribute of the Earth that looks like those things. That's really it's kind of making me woozy because it's zooming in and out of the Earth.
It does, and it's slow, but you can make it a screensaver. It's just a fun little geography thing.
That's really cool, yeah.
So
we'll put a link in the show notes or on your website. See how I get you over to Johnny's site.
I like that.
Clever. JohnnyJet.com. This is cool.
Yeah, I also have some more tips if we have some time.
You got all the time in the world. Just check the Earth clock. You're good. You're good.
So I got a reader email this week saying that one of my friends called me up and said one of their friends just arrived in Bora Bora and their luggage didn't, and they're panicking because they put their medication in their check bags.
Ooh.
And I was like, whoa. First of all, you never, ever, ever
put medication in a check bag. I know.
Or of anything of value.
Anything you need.
Electronics, money, jewelry. Don't check it. Never.
No. Did you see the very funny tweet from the guy? He went on a honeymoon, had an Apple AirTag in his bag on Aer Lingus.
I did not.
They lost the bags, and the guy's tracking it with the AirTag and posting on Twitter, I see where my bag is. Aer Lingus has no idea.
And where was it?
Well, it's going all over the place. It ended up in Frankfurt, and they finally, there were 3 bags. They got 2 of them back. One of them apparently stolen, and he's telling Aer Lingus, I can see where it is. Why don't you just go get it?
And that's one of my tips. Actually, I wrote a post on 6.
Put an AirTag in your bag.
Put an AirTag in it.
I have an AirTag in my bag. Yeah, isn't that
also download the airline's app, because the app will show you if it was loaded onto the plane. You can even go to the gate when you're boarding and just show them the baggage tag and say, hey, can you just check and see if this bag was loaded onto the plane?
Yeah.
If it's really that important. But always bring a change of clothes on the plane.
That's right. You hand carry the stuff you're going to need for sure.
At least for a day. So this woman, she arrived at Bora Bora with no bathing suit. She had to go to the boutique in the hotel. She spent $150 for a bathing suit.
Shocking.
There's no Target or Costco in Bora Bora. So when you're going to remote places, you really need to start packing a week in advance, make a checklist, and always carry at least a day's worth of clothes and essentials.
It's hard for me because I don't want to pack my camera gear, don't want to pack my laptop, don't want to pack my phone. I have so much stuff I don't want to pack. The suitcase is getting bigger and bigger and heavier. But I think that's good advice. You don't want to.
You can also use a Scotty vest, by the way, as a third carry-on. You put some of the electronics in there.
I do. It has 21 pockets, and they are loaded. And then when I arrive at the TSA checkpoint, it's very easy. You just take off the vest, put that on the belt. You're golden.
Yeah, I did that one time. I was in Germany or Australia. They both weigh your bags, your carry-ons. And I was like a pound over. And they wouldn't let my carry-on on. So I was like, okay, one second.
Vest. Yeah.
I went around the corner and just stuck
Let me throw this away, wink, wink.
And I put my laptop in my bag, in my coat pocket.
Yep. There are Scotty vests that have a big pouch in the back for a laptop. Now, you're going to look like a fool wearing it.
You are.
But it works.
Hey.
Johnny Jet.
Some money.
Go to JohnnyJet.com. Thank you, Johnny. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. You look like a fool with a big old butt.
Without a doubt.
But you got your laptop. That's a good point. I'm gonna take my Scotty vest for whenever I get on an airplane. I'm wearing a Scotty vest.
Actually, I'm going to write a tip about it this week because my wife sent me a news story. I think it was Aer Lingus, where a passenger was going to be charged for overweight baggage, and she put 5 outfits on, which is not the smartest thing. I think one person might even died another time doing that from heat exhaustion. So, either pay the money or get a Scotty vest. I do have a question for you if I have time.
Yes.
So I bought a new laptop 2 weeks ago.
Oh, what'd you get?
I basically got the same thing, an HP Spectra
Very nice.
360 convertible.
Really nice.
but I don't love it.
You don't love it?
No.
Why
I'll tell
not?
you one reason why is because it only has one USB port and only one USB-C, which is for the plug.
You got to get a dongle.
I have one.
Welcome to the dongle life.
But I just think that's ridiculous. Also, what I don't like about it is the whole new operating system. And and another thing is, actually, this is with GoDaddy because I use I have my email from them. And they made me switch over to Microsoft 365.
Who did?
So,
GoDaddy did?
Yeah. They said they were getting rid of their webmail. So
they
Outlook,
don't want to. Yeah, that's actually probably better. Yeah. Okay.
But which is fine. But the problem is all my subfolders. I literally have 1,000 subfolders on my Outlook to keep me organized.
Oh,
so
you
I'll have
lost
different
all
destinations.
those.
No, well, I still have it on my old computer.
Right.
But they're not showing up on the web version or the Microsoft 365.
That's the beauty. Yeah, because you made those locally. That's the beauty going forward of using IMAP is that any change you make to the folder structure is on the server, and so it shows up everywhere. But I guess with GoDaddy Mail, those folders were created locally. Can you export a folder structure from Outlook? That would be the thing I would look for.
That's what I'm curious about. And then the guy tried to sell me the Microsoft package for I think it was $200 for 5 computers. And I was like, yeah, sounds great because I'm paying $699 a month for Microsoft.
Yeah, so it's not.
No, for 2 years. For
2 years. So that's not a bad deal. Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. But then I was like, I only have one computer that I really use. Oh. So it was not a good deal.
No, it's only good for a family. But they have a one computer deal as well. It's still $7 a month probably is the best you're going to get.
Right.
Export folder structure from Outlook. Let's see if we can do that. Yes. All messages and current include subfolders. It looks like if you export them, the question now is then how do you import them? I think you can export your folder structure from your old Outlook. And
can or can't?
Can. And then import it into the new Outlook. And let's hope that it then sends a signal to Office 365. This is the folder structure I want. There's got to be a way to do that, probably with a PST file. Yeah, export the folders as a PST, then import it. But then will that then tell Office 365, the Outlook.com server, these are my folders, this is what I want? Because that's what you want. Export the PST and import it into the new Outlook. Johnny,
I will do.
Get rid of that HP. You can return it, right?
I mean, I already started downloading stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's how it's very
$1,400
thin and light. Is that they don't have a lot of ports? That's the new thing. Thank Apple for that one.
Yeah.
All right, John.
All right. Take care.
Bye. Listeners of this program get an ad-free version if they're members of Club Twit. $7 a month gives you ad-free versions of all of our shows, plus membership in the Club Twit Discord, a great clubhouse for Twit listeners. And finally, the Twit Plus feed with shows like Stacy's Book Club, the Untitled Linux Show, the Giz Fizz, and more. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit. And thanks for your support. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. That's my motto. You can go your own way. Don't let Microsoft tell you what to do. Go your own way. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Oh, my friend Soup from Muscle Beach is on the line. Soup, we looked up your pictures.
You did.
You are quite the paragon of muscular beatitudes.
Oh, boy. Somebody have to be.
You look good, man. Yeah, nice. Soup has body doubled some of the most ripped people in the world and is making a documentary about Muscle Beach. You've got a bunch of old footage of Muscle Beach down there in Venice.
You want to see? Oh, it's actually in Santa Monica, the original.
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
Yeah, that's where Lisa does the rings. Yeah, Santa Monica.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see beautiful footage, as you say, at theoriginalmusclebeach.com. You can see all black and white footage and pictures of us doing tricks. Yeah, it's a beautiful website.
Very nice. Very nice.
Today I'm calling to say thank you, first of all, for last week, because you did help me last week with this Thunderbolt card to put in the PCI slot.
Oh, did you get one?
And it worked.
Yay!
I know.
$19. You can hook up that old camera, and play back the videos.
Honestly, the chat room was awesome.
Marvelous. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, so I can see that footage.
One step closer to the Muscle Beach documentary.
Yes, sir. Exactly. And now I'm encountering another little problem, which is I check my internet, the internet via the Alcatel modem, I think you call it, for Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And it connects to my PC, my tower, and my cell phone.
Yes.
Now, in the evening, when I'm done watching a movie and I want to go to bed, I put my computer to sleep.
Yes.
And by the time I wake up, my phone is disconnected from the internet. So, because as you know, the Alcatel little modem box is connected with USB on my computer, on my PC tower.
So the Alcatel is getting its internet not from the wall, but from the LTE, from the cell towers. Is that right?
I don't know about that. That's more information than I know.
That's more than I understand. Huh. Let me think here.
Alcatel was provided to me by the system for low income, and they give this box for free. Or
does it? Okay, so it plugs into the wall for power. Is there another connector going into the wall from that?
No, it doesn't actually. It's just a USB that goes to my tower.
So I think that the Alcatel is what we call a MiFi. It's a device that gets its internet from the cell towers, not from cable or phone company, but from the cell towers. And I'm betting it's going to sleep itself. That's interesting. So you wake up, and what do? You have to rejoin it?
There's this little button that sometimes works. It's called WPS.
Yeah. So WPS, which, by the way, I recommend disabling because it's an insecure technology. Makes it easy, though. You don't have to type in a password and a name. You press the button, the WPS button on the Alcatel, the WPS button on the device, and they magically join up. That's nice, but it's also insecure. So I'm not a fan of WPS. A lot of devices have it. The Alcatel will probably have a password on it that you could probably find. Maybe it's on a sticker. That. You have that, okay? So
I changed that the first time. The one time I used it.
Perfect, good man. So you've entered. So my recommendation: enter that into the computer. So it has what we call SSID, which is the name of the Wi-Fi access point, and it has the password. And use that. Are you using that? Have you used that?
I don't think I have.
Yeah, that might be WPS a WPS problem. I think if you should certainly try that anyway. So go onto the Windows machine and go to the where the Wi-Fi is and enter in a password. And you might have to disconnect and reconnect without WPS. Don't use that WPS button. Disconnect and then reconnect. So if you disconnect from the Alcatel, you'll lose your internet, but you'll see it there in the list of available internets. Given that you're in Santa Monica or Venice, you'll probably see quite a few of them. Pick the one that's yours. And then at that point, Windows will say, oh, and what's the password? So in other words, you're not using this WPS shortcut. And it'll say, what's the password? You enter the password in, and now it should not ever get off of that. It should always be available to you.
Oh, interesting. I will try that one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, WPS... a lot of devices. I think people have stopped putting WPS on their devices, but the idea was, it's too hard for people to do what I just described: find the name and then enter the password. That's too complicated. So put a button on there that you just press, but you can see there's already problems, right? So
yeah, exactly. And then what you said we should do is only done once, right? We don't have to do it every time we turn on the computer.
Yeah, once you enter the password, you'll never have to do it again. Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Not that difficult.
Yeah. Forget the WPS. It stands for Wireless Protected Setup, I think. And the idea is
that's protected.
Yeah, but it doesn't protect anything because it turns out hackers figured out, we can use this to get into your device. So if you can disable it, I would. You probably can't. But don't use WPS and use the password. That should work.
Excellent.
All right.
We know.
Hey, Soup, always a pleasure.
Leo, I'll talk to you some other time.
If I come down to Venice Beach, will I see you working out down there?
Only every day, my friend.
In Santa Monica or Venice Beach?
I never know. That's the beauty of it. I live exactly between both.
So you can go to either one. Yeah.
And I never know my mood. I'm on my bicycle. Should I go left Venice or right to Santa Monica?
Oh, I'm jealous now. I'm really jealous. And you're the guy doing all those balancing acts where you're like 5 people in a pyramid, things like that?
Yes, we love that.
Do you do Slackwire too?
Slackline, yes. I do that a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. I know. I probably have seen you because I've seen those guys down there doing that. Crazy yoga positions and weird contortionist stuff and all sorts of things down there.
That's us.
That's you.
Do me a favor. Next time,
I'm going to look
get
for...
in touch with me and I'll help you because there's some things that are very simple and very easy to do.
I would love that. And then my wife will take a picture, put it on the internet, and I'll be humiliated. It sounds wonderful.
No, you won't. No, some things are just physics. Just physics and not difficult. If you have 10 fingers, you'll be fine. Honestly.
Let me count. Yes. I can't wait. Soup, what a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much. Anytime I can help.
All right. Excellent.
And tell me, and when the documentary comes out, you got a call. We'll give you a big plug. I want to see it.
Ooh, excellent. Well, first start with the original musclebeach.com. Check it out.
Musclebeach.com. Oh, cool.
No, the original.
The original musclebeach.com. Much better. Okay, got it. Got it.
Excellent. Thanks.
Thank you. Take care. Max, Lake Worth, Florida. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello, Leo. Long time no talk, my friend.
Hi, Max. How are you?
I'm doing just peachy, living the dream in South Florida in the Lake Worth, beautiful town. If you remember, I used to live in Boca Raton.
I totally remember you, Max. Of course I know who you are. Yeah.
I was living in a condo, and I realized that's not the lifestyle.
No.
I moved to a beautiful, brand new home in Lake Worth, and I have outlets, Cat 6 in every freaking room. 2 in each room.
You moved to a palace, my friends. That is living the dream.
Little palace.
Living the dream. You've got Ethernet in every room.
I got a 1 gig fiber, AT&T.
Oh, shut up. Now you're just making me mad.
I know. 1 gig up and down.
Oh, symmetric gigabit Ethernet internet.
$75 a month. I have internet every room. All the
that's nice.
All the
are you happy?
The TVs are connected.
Oh yeah, perfect for that, right? See, this is why when Scott's talking about ATSC 3.0, I don't care. I've got internet in every room. That's better. Nice.
Yeah, I do. Well,
nice.
One thing I'd like to let your listeners know: Wi-Fi, in my humble opinion, is a tripwire. I hate Wi-Fi.
Yes.
That's why every place I need, I have wired connection.
This is the name of the show now. Wi-Fi is a tripwire. Max, I have to take a break. Pleasure talking to you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Okay, you said you had some other pointers. Let's keep them going. What else?
Right. So you know about the scam calls and all that stuff.
Hate those guys. Hate those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. I am talking to you on my Ultra, S22 Ultra 5G running on T-Mobile right now, and I'm driving, actually. So as you could see, it's very
wow. That's really good.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. In this area, T-Mobile 5G coverage is pretty good. I actually, if I'm in the right place, I get 600 megabit down.
600 megabits?
That's amazing.
You know, it's funny because my daughter just moved to a new apartment. We were going to get her Chromecast cable, and I thought I should try this new Verizon home internet. I just set it up for her yesterday. 380 megabits down, 19 up for $25 a month. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
As long as you live in an area with the 5G ultra wideband, you're golden. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's for Verizon. I'm talking about T-Mobile.
No, I understand. It's the same thing, though. They have mid-range, and I'm on T-Mobile on my cell phone. Yeah, I was getting 500 megabits down. I was blown away.
Yeah, I'm blown away with it. So, but of course, not everywhere. You know that there are spots.
Yeah, and a time of day. But I've been logging into her system and doing speed checks around the clock just to see if it gets worse at commute time or something like that. It's been very good. I'm quite impressed by it. So you like the T-Mobile? Good.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with it. So about the spam calls and spam text. Well,
yes.
You know about all that stuff already.
Yes.
So the trick is, my Ultra phone, there's a setting to essentially block the calls, spam calls, and spam text.
Does it work?
Probably already.
Does it work?
Yes, it does. As long as you punch in some magical numbers
Ah,
on your phone.
okay.
Okay? The magical number is #664#. That is
Pound
for
664.
the spam calls.
And this is for T-Mobile.
Yes. I don't know about the other one. But you do that, then magically, no more of those scam calls.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to do this on my T-Mobile phone right now. Wow.
#664#.
Pound. Okay, hold on. #664#, and then dial.
Just dial it.
Please,
And
it
then
says,
you
please wait.
hear-
Oh, scam ID is now turned on.
Exactly. You're set, brother.
Oh, brother, you fixed me.
That's the end of the misery with those mother F.
Well, we'll see. That's nice. And that's free from T-Mobile, huh?
It is free to. And then what happens is that you get voicemail notification.
Oh, okay.
Will never ring.
Good, because I don't, sometimes you get the false positive. I don't want to miss a call. Like my doctor sometimes uses unknown. And
in your case, I don't know. I don't have any of those false positives. I mean, if somebody is a phone call is important, they'll leave a message. Or just check my message at my leisure.
Yeah, as long as they can leave a voicemail. Yeah, I do that with my iPhone. I say, don't ring my phone unless that person's in my contact list.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a magic code. £6.664.
I wonder what it is for other phone companies. I wonder if the other phone companies are doing this. I bet they are.
Yeah, but I don't know what.
I'll see if I can find that.
Yeah.
What else is going on in your world, Max? What else is going on?
Well, not a whole lot except living the dream here, love it here, and
you got the
beautiful,
the best internet ever.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's beautiful.
Wow.
1,000 megabits per second.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. And Ethernet in every room, which means, man, you plug in your TV and you're set. Everything looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, I do have access points around the house.
Sure.
For the guests.
Sure.
When the guest wants, they want to connect.
Sure. Or for a cell phone, you're not going to connect that to the Ethernet. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
And I do have.
Was it built that way, or did you make it happen?
I'll make it happen.
Did it come? It didn't come that way. The place didn't come that way. You put it in.
Yes, I actually is an option to the house. So you
nice. I'd pay for that option. You bet.
They were building it. They get $100 per plug. So
nice.
I put like 7, 8 plugs everywhere.
Yeah.
In every room.
We did it after the fact. We had some people crawling around in the crawl space and do that, but it really is nice. Yeah, it really.
Let me give you a pointer right here.
Okay.
You may know, or you don't, there is a brand new technology in flat Ethernet cable. Flat.
Ah.
You buy it from Amazon. Yeah, okay.
What's it called? I did not know this. What's it called?
You just type in on Amazon
flat Ethernet
cable.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these are Cat
6?
Cat 6. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
They come in different lengths. Now, every home that I've seen, they have baseboards. Okay. Then all you gotta do, just get those Ethernet cables, the flat one with the length that you need. Okay. Then you get 2-sided 3M tape.
Yeah.
Essentially, what I'm trying, you use.
Oh, and you go around the baseboards, so you don't even have to go into the wall.
See them anymore.
Yeah.
You don't even see them anymore.
Right, because it's underneath and it's flat. Yeah. And these are Cat 6. Actually, they even have Cat 7. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Right.
30 feet for $11. That's not bad.
Yeah. You don't see them anymore. You could wire your entire.
Oh, here's
home
Cat 8.
Those cables. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Gold-plated cables, 20 feet for $13. It's cheap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a bunch. I'm gonna buy a bunch of these.
Yeah, 3M tapes, double-sided. Put them peel one, attach, then pull the other one.
Brilliant.
Attach the cable.
Brilliant.
And that's it. Then if you have to go around let's say you have to go across a door, right, with a threshold, just lift the threshold, put underneath, and put it back on. That's it.
Wow.
Then your whole house already wired. There's no reason to cut through the walls or through the ceilings.
Is that what you did? No, you're lucky because you got the builder to do it, so it is in the wall for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I already knew it because that's what I did in my condo.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
And then my new home, and I have everything already done for them.
Max, are you retired or are you still working?
My dear friend, retired to me is an insult. Retired means when you're 6 foot under. I am doing what I want to do.
And what is it that you do, Max?
I do. I'm an electrical engineer. I have a PhD in electrical engineering.
I had a feeling. I kind of had thought you might be. Yeah.
Yeah, but actually,
is that why you lived in Boca? Did you work at IBM?
No. I used to live in Northern California before I moved down to 2017.
Okay.
And let me give you some keywords. RLL.
Run length. RLL and MFM. I remember those hard drives, man. I was so excited when I got my RLL Seagate. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so remember the size of the disk drives, washing machine size?
Yeah.
And they got reduced to the small one.
Did you work on hard drives?
The guy behind it.
You're the guy?
Behind it.
Wait a minute, you did RLL?
Well, I leveraged the RLL and the MFM. That's why we reduced the size of those platters. Then I implemented the error detection correction system.
Who were you working for?
Control Data Corporation.
CDC, yeah.
Yes.
Wow, I remember Control Data. Max, it's an honor to meet you. Thank you.
Same here. And remember, the size of the platter got reduced. The flow on the platters blew up, and you couldn't have any data.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we had to implement the whole Reed-Solomon code with a very high detection and correction in hardware. So I'm the guy behind all that stuff.
You did ECC? Was it ECC?
Yes.
In hardware?
Yeah, ECC, hardware.
Wow.
Back in 1982 using the CDC LSI technology.
Wow.
It was a huge board.
Max, it's an honor to meet you. Yeah. And thank you. And I remember I had 10 megabyte hard drives until Seagate came out with the RLLs, and I got 20 megabytes on a 5 1/4. Oh my God!
Yes.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Max, I got to run. It's a real pleasure. Call again, okay?
Same here. Yes, I will.
Take care, Max.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. Well, hey! How are you today, Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, all that stuff. Phone number 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you could still call. Just use Skype out to reach us. 8888-ASK. Leo, the website, techguylabs.com. techguylabs.com. On we go with the show, and Alex is on the line from Upland, California. Hi, Alex.
Hello, Leo. How are you this
afternoon,
sir?
Great. How are you, Alex?
Doing fine, thanks. It's 82 degrees out here in the Inland Empire, and it doesn't look like any COVID issues going on because the streets are packed.
Yeah, we had our big up here in Petaluma, our big butter and eggs day last weekend. It was jammed. It was like the old days. It was so much fun.
Nothing says greatness but butter.
Butter and eggs, and we got a few pigs too, so you can have some bacon with that. It's so nice to be with people again, isn't it? It's just amazing.
It sure is, and family especially.
Yes.
Over time, the matriarchs of family pass away, and families separate and start doing their own things. But I think it's high time that everybody gets back together again.
So agree with you. And I told my mom we're going to come out and visit you next month. And she said, you can't come out because of COVID. I said, Mom, I'm coming. She's 89. She'll be 90 years old next January. And I said, Mom, I'm coming out. I don't care what you say. I'll sit 6 feet away from you.
That's a great age. 90. She's got a lot of experience. And just tell her it's over, and she'll understand. It's
That's
over.
what I said. I said, Mom, well, she lives in Rhode Island where it's actually kind of not over, but it'll be over by June. I'm going to go out in June because I got to see her.
Good.
Yeah, I miss her.
For you. Safe
thanks,
travels for sure.
and she says this every time, thank goodness for FaceTime or Skype or Zoom or whatever you use, but because it's like visiting. It's not the same, can't hug her, but it's like visiting. It's pretty good, and it's kept us going for 2 years. But I think the time has come to go on out and see.
Yeah, it is a good connection. This way, when you get out of line, you can see her facial expression that
that's right.
Get back in line again.
So what can I do for you, Alex?
Well, first of all, now that you hit star or pound 664 and pound again to get rid of the scammers, do you know that your car warranty is about to expire?
Sam, they're going to still call me on the radio. I can't help it. I can't get away from it. So, yeah, we should mention that was something Max, after the show was over, you heard it because you were on hold. He told me if you're on T-Mobile, they have a new, and this is, we'll put the press release in the show notes. This is not made up. They have a new scam protection product that you turn on weirdly by going to your dialer and dialing pound 664 pound and hitting return, and it turns on this scam protect technology. Just rolled it out last month, and so I'm thrilled to do that. I'm sure other companies are doing something similar, but thank you, T-Mobile, for doing that. Yeah.
And with our modern technology now, for crying out loud, every phone carrier should be able to.
No reason.
That service.
Exactly. No reason they can't block those spam calls. Those are terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's my dilemma. My son plays college baseball for UC Riverside, and we're constantly on the weekends out at his games. Nice. And we have 2 small dogs that we sometimes leave at home.
Yes.
And it just breaks my heart that I'm able to see him on a one-way camera, sitting by the door waiting for us to come in, where I'd like to turn on a video of some kind or hook up with them to where they can see my face, go to something that's maybe on the floor.
You need the Furbo. The Furbo, F-U-R-B-O. It not only does it have audio so you can talk, and you could see the dog, it'll toss a little treat out of it.
I just heard that from your associate there who answered the phone.
She knows all about dogs. You knew about the Furbo?
Yeah, but this doesn't have. He wants the dogs to be able to see him.
Oh, well, the dogs don't care. Honestly, I had a device. Yeah, I had a device that had a screen on it, and I couldn't. In fact, Ozzy wouldn't even look at my voice. I think the treat is the most important thing. But okay. So Furbo is something that will do that, but does not have, because it's only $169. Does not come with a screen on it that they can see you. Let me see if anybody makes something with that's an expensive piece that they don't.
I thought Google had come out with something to where you can to where you can do just like. I thought they did.
You could put Echo Show on the floor from Amazon or a Google Nest hub on the floor. It's got a screen, and you could make just like a FaceTime call, like I was calling my mom. You could make a Google Meet call.
Wouldn't they have to accept?
Oh, how's the dog accept? No, well, okay, the Echoes do drop-in, so you don't have to accept with drop-in, but does drop-in have video or only audio? I don't know. Here's the chat room is... I'm not talking to you. You keep interrupting, Google. It's just very, pushy. This is something from the chat room. Maybe this is it. Pet Chats with the Z, PETCHATZ.com. It says we're temporarily unavailable on our way to a new distribution center, but it is exactly what you want. It's on the ground. The dog can accept by putting his paw on a little paw print. Oh, this is so cute. Well, you train him, right? You train him. Put your paw now. Put your paw. Maybe you have to. It's too bad it doesn't spit a. Oh, wait a minute. It does have a treat.
I was going to say.
I think it does have a treat.
Put their paw, then they can answer and get a treat at the same time.
You can play games with the paw call accessory. So, okay, 2-way audio-visual interaction. So you got cameras on both sides. Sound and motion-triggered smart video recording. Dispenses 4 ways, manually, app, paw call, or echo. So you can dispense treats, pet messages. the pet can message you. The dog can tap the paw. And, oh, wait a minute. Now they've sold me. It also diffuses calming aromatherapy to ease anxiety.
I need one of these.
Yes.
And I guess it'll work with cats too, although probably not. So, yeah, they're currently probably because of, supply chain and all that. But you can order it, and you'll get it when it's back, when they're back in distribution. But PetChatz.com, Pet Chats. Scooter X, Scooter X says it's no longer sold, but they do act as if they're going to get a new distributor. So.
Well, even, I don't know, maybe Amazon might have something similar.
Somebody could steal it. Yeah, somebody should just steal it. It's not cheap. It's about twice as much as the Furbo, $350. All right, I'm going to have to get a dog so I can try this. What do you think?
I've got two you can babysit on the weekend.
I'll babysit your dogs. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, wouldn't this be fun? You're at the ball game. You're going, what's your dog's name?
Cleo is the female, and Milo is the male.
So you go, Milo, Cleo, come here. Take a treat.
Yeah, I've got him here with me right now. Cleo just turned her head, she's looking around.
Oh, what? Milo, come here, over to the radio.
Milo's crying in the back seat.
What kind of dog is Milo?
Milo is a multi-Shih Tzu mix.
Okay.
And Cleo is a multi-poo, which is...
So they're tiny.
Yeah, they're tiny, small dogs.
Nice.
They sit in my lap all the time. They steal the covers at night. See here, Milo?
I hear her.
He sees that we're in the driveway. Well, he sees that we're at home and he wants to get out.
Well, I'm going to let you get out and take Milo and Cleo out for a walk. It's a pleasure talking to you, Alex. There's a couple of good...
Leo, it was a pleasure talking to you as well. I greatly appreciate your time and all that you do for our techie people out here. And you enjoy your trip with your mom. You cherish every minute you can.
I totally agree, Alex. God bless you. Take care. Bye, Milo. Bye, Milo. Walkies. 8888. Ask Leo the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. and Canada. I'll put links to both these devices in our show notes. TechGuyLabs.com. More to come right after this. Walkies! Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo is my phone number. The Is Wiz, Dick DeBartolo, coming up with his gadget of the week in about half an hour. Meanwhile, Gary on the line from Sunnyvale, California. Hi, Gary.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure. Thanks for calling. What can I do for you?
My wife does her computing on a Mac notebook. I do mine on a HP PC laptop.
You got a mixed marriage. I feel for you, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
No problems, though, until kind of recently.
Yeah.
I started noticing that ads were showing up on my computer for stuff. Oh, you already heard that. For stuff that my wife had been browsing.
Because from the point of view of the internet, you are one. So a lot of the ways this works, most of the time the way this works, you're right to be a little puzzled because there is, one way companies know who you are is via your browser, via cookies on your browser or fingerprinting your browser. So then they do know the difference between Gary and his wife. But another way a company works, for instance, when you go to do a Google search, Google knows your IP address. And for you and your wife, that's the same number. And so in the case where you're getting the same ads, it's because that company uses ad tech that's based on IP address. Unfortunately, advertising technology has gotten very sophisticated in the digital world. Here on the radio, we'll play you an ad, but we don't know who you are, right? You're hearing an ad on the radio, and it's really totally based on the radio station's ratings. And when they do the ratings, they can do some demographic stuff. and the zip codes, and whoever the advertiser feels like is listening to that station at that time of the day in that, area of the country. That's a very, kind of not imprecise system, let's put it that way. Digital is incredibly precise. This is why the bulk of advertising is moving to digital now. Facebook and Google are the two big winners because they know everything about you. Facebook, partly because you tell them. Google, because chances are everywhere you go, you are logged in to Google. Do you share a Google ID, or do you have different Google IDs?
No.
Okay.
No, I do not have a Google ID.
You don't have a Gmail account?
Nope.
You've never logged into YouTube or your Chrome browser? No?
Maybe once in my life.
All you have to do is once. Just once is all it needs. Because
I do not have a Facebook account.
Good. So this is probably why you're more likely to see the same ads as your wife, because they don't have a way of distinguishing you from your wife. If you don't want to see the same ads as your wife, sign into Google, sign in to get a Facebook account, get an Instagram account. All of those ads will be based on your activity. Not hers. But if they don't know more about you, they're going to base it on your internet address. And per household, that's the same. Does that make sense?
That's the only way to stop it?
Well, you don't want to see the ads that your wife based on your wife's. It's not okay. This is a larger conversation because there's no way there you can. Yes, there are ways to stop it. You can either see ads that have nothing to do with either of you, or see no ads at all, or see ads that are targeted towards what they think are your interests. Those are your kind of three slots. You're currently in that last one where you're getting ads targeted at what they think you're interested in, and because they can't distinguish you from your wife, that's what your wife's interested in. That's the normal way. That's the default. You could use software and services to hide your IP address. Typically, a VPN is what people use. When you use a VPN, a virtual private network, you've probably heard ads for VPNs or seen them. Yeah. When you use those, instead of your address, Google sees the VPN's address. So you're not going to stop ads, but the ads will no longer be targeted at your interests. I'm not sure that's an improvement. I mean, I guess it's really up to you. Some people find it creepy that the ads kind of match their interests. Some people find it creepy that you search for, something, a car, and now you're getting a lot of car ads. But understand, that's just the advertiser saying, oh, he's interested in a car. Let's send him some ads. Otherwise, you're just going to get a random sampling of ads. The first bucket is no ads at all, and that would involve using an ad blocker. And there are a number of software technologies that will let you block ads at your house. That takes a little more doing. There are ad blockers you could run in your browser. There are services. I use a service I like a lot called NextDNS at nextdns.io. They can block malicious stuff, gambling, adult sites. They're good for instance, controlling what kids can see. But among their other services, if you go into the security tab, you can turn off advertising as well. And that will block it either for the whole house if you put it, use your router to turn that on, or per computer if you use your computer to turn it on. So there's certainly ways to go into any of those three slots. No ads at all, ads that are random, not targeted, or targeted ads. I personally prefer targeted ads. I'd rather see ads for something I'm interested in. One of the complaints people have reasonably is that targeting is terrible. So, oftentimes you get ads for things you just bought. Like, well, I just bought it. I don't. But advertisers don't want to do that. They want to advertise to people who are going to buy or interested in buying something they sell. That's the goal.
It doesn't bother me if you're looking at it on a big screen, but on a 13-inch laptop, these ads take up so much space.
Yeah. So you might want to look at an ad blocker. I use something called uBlock Origin. It's free. It's an extension you can run on Edge. If you're using Microsoft Edge, you can run on I run it on Firefox, and you have some control over it, but it is a very good ad blocker. Just remember, though, those ads are what pay for the sites you're visiting.
Yeah, I understand that.
One of the things you can do with uBlock Origin is turn it off for sites that you really appreciate or whose ads are not overwhelming. You know, I understand from your point of view, you probably don't mind ads. It's just they're taking over the whole screen, or they're dancing and annoying, or sometimes they even can transmit malware. So this is part of the problem, is the advertising industry has gotten out of control. So uBlock Origin will block all ads, but you have some control over it, and you can unblock any individual site.
Is that uBlock?
The letter U, B-L-O-C-K, Origin. Now, there's other uBlocks, but only get uBlock Origin. That's the free one, the right one, from a guy named Gorhill, G-O-R-H-I-L-L. It's in the extension store for many browsers, not for your wife's Safari, unfortunately. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, Safari doesn't allow you to use those extensions.
Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome. It's actually a great question, Gary. I think people don't understand what's going on, so it's nice to be able to kind of explain that.
Yeah, I sure didn't.
Yeah. Thanks, Gary.
All right, take care.
Have a good one. Take care.
You too.
Can we be friends? Sure we can. Leo Laporte. I'm the tech guy, and you are 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. You can tell me, introduce yourself. Like Gary in Scottsdale, Arizona. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Leo.
Welcome.
Thank you for taking my... Hey, I have been a long-term user of the desktop version of Outlook, which I subscribe to or purchased through the annual Microsoft 365 subscription.
Right.
I have never kept my data in the cloud. It's always on my desktop version. Now I'm wondering what I need to do if I chose to continue to use the desktop version, but can I sync it to the mobile Outlook version? And if I can, I've also read some warnings that it doesn't really work with the PST file. So this is really more about where you get your mail from than how you get it. Who is your internet service provider? Where does that email come from? Both Outlook and Gmail.
Okay. So if you already have an Outlook.com account, which sounds like you do, right?
No.
So you get it from Outlook. I'm not sure what that means.
Well, the desktop version, which everything is...
Yeah, okay. So, but it's coming from Gmail. Gmail is your mail provider. I guess that's what I should have said, not internet service provider, but mail provider.
Right, and I get my mail on my iPhone. Just through the...
Yeah, because it's from Gmail, right?
Right.
You're using... So this is... I know it's a source of real confusion, and Microsoft hasn't helped by using Outlook to mean many different things. So no matter what, your email comes from an email provider into an email client. The client varies. You can use Outlook as your email client. You can use Outlook.com. You can use Gmail. But the provider is what's relevant here.
Right, but I'm not concerned about my email. I'm only concerned because I get that on my phone, and it does sync with, when I delete something on my phone, it still stays on my Outlook desktop. It stays on the server for as long as I choose. I'm really interested in being able to sync my Outlook desktop.
The calendar. Yeah.
And the contacts with, I guess I would have to use mobile Outlook on my iPhone, but there's no way I've been able to determine how to sync.
No, there's an easy solution to this. But again, it comes down to who is your calendar provider and who's your address book provider. Do you keep your calendars and address book on Google?
No, I keep my calendar only within Outlook desktop.
So it's only in the desktop. It's actually not on the cloud at all.
Correct.
Okay. So the first thing to do is you want to pick a provider. Just as you have Gmail as your email provider, you want to pick a calendar and address book provider. Now, most people end up just using Google for this. You already have a Google account. It's almost the same as Gmail. calendar.google.com and contacts.google.com become the web interface to it. And all you really need to make that work is an Outlook to Google connector.
Right. And I've heard you say in the past that those things do not work very well.
They're not great. Also, they're not free. If you had a Google Workspace account, Google offers one, but otherwise you're going to use a third-party tool that will sync those up. Honestly, at that point, the phone is fine because Apple's calendar, and you'll see this in the settings on your iPhone or on a Mac, will sync up to Google. So it will get its calendar information from Google automatically. It's and so will many calendar and address book programs. That's one of the reasons I like Google, because it's a good server. You don't have to obviously put your calendar and address book on the internet. In fact, you haven't. But if you want to easily share it between multiple devices, that's a good way to do it. And that's so you need a central server that is always online that these devices can connect to. There are other ones, but I think, for instance, I use as my email provider Fastmail, and they also will synchronize a calendar and address book. But since you already have Gmail, I would say just use Google. So now it's going to come down to which tool you want to install that will automatically sync your Microsoft Outlook calendar with Google Calendar, and there are quite a few of these. And I don't have much experience, so I'm going to defer to the chat room. I know people have in the past sent me, after the show, sent me programs, and I wish I'd written them down. I have a link at Make Use Of. I'll put this in the show notes that has about 5 or 6. So at least you can see the choices. There's one called Calendar Sync for Outlook and Google Calendar. That's pretty straightforward. There's Outlook, Google Calendar Sync. I think those two are probably the first two choices. You can, I guess, do your own thing with Microsoft's Power Automate. That seems like it'd be very tricky, but at least it comes from Microsoft. So again, I'm going to put this note up here that'll let you do that. The other thing you could do, if you don't want to do synchronization, is export your calendar and address book from Outlook, and then you could easily import that into Google, and now Google would have it all.
Right.
But it wouldn't be continuous synchronization.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I can sync wirelessly between my laptop and my phone whenever I'm at home, but not travel.
Well, okay, so that's another. Okay, that's interesting. So right now you've got your address book syncing from your laptop to your phone?
Correct.
Oh. And your phone's an iPhone? Then it's easy. Yes. So you're already doing the sync part. Now you just have to go into your phone and sign into your Google account and then check that box that says synchronize calendars and address book, because it'll take it off your phone.
Okay. All right. I'll give that a try. Very good. Hey, more question.
Sure.
I'm a big user of LastPass.
Yes.
I use it for keeping all my passwords, but I also love the notes capability where I can just put secure notes like my children's social security numbers and that sort of thing.
I use that too. I agree. Yeah, for passports and driver's licenses. Yep.
For convenience, if I start a contacts list within my Outlook and I put some of that information in contacts within Outlook, how secure might that be?
Not. The answer is not. It is secure in the sense that, your laptop is sort of protected. You're probably not going to let somebody get it. But if they got it and they could log into it, there it is and clear. It's going to be now we're going to be synchronizing. So it's generally going to be synchronized in an encrypted form. So if you're in a coffee shop and it's synchronizing, it's not that somebody could sit there and spy on your traffic. Nowadays, everything's encrypted. But it's on public server. It's on Google's servers. Google has no history of being hacked. They're very well run, but it's unencrypted on a server. That's kind of risky. So that's why you would use LastPass for the really stuff you really want to keep private, or any password manager for the stuff you really want to keep private. In that case, only you can unlock it. Even LastPass can't. It's on their servers, but they can't touch it. That's kind of what you want.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I wouldn't put. I don't put. Well, this is an interesting question because I do have phone numbers for people who probably don't want their phone numbers to go public, and they're in my contact list. So not only am I synchronizing it with all my devices in Google, or Fastmail in my case, anytime I sign into something, WhatsApp or whatever, it will say, in fact, this happened to me the other day, WhatsApp said, I'm going to synchronize with your contacts, okay? And there was no cancel button. There was only a yes button. There was no button, which made me really angry. I forced closed WhatsApp. I said, absolutely not, because you should remember this. Anytime you are allowing, and they say, well, then that way we can tell you when a friend of yours joins WhatsApp or Telegram or Facebook or whatever. But this is not for your benefit. What they really want is your contact list. So if there's stuff in your contact list that's private, and if at any time you agree when an app says, can we look at your contact list? It's not private anymore. You're doxing your friends. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hello, Dickie D. I'm very hello. So I like this Aura ring. I've had one for years. Harpreet, the founder, who is no longer CEO, came on the new Screensavers some time ago, and actually it was Kevin Rose, I think, who told me about it. And Harpreet came on, and I had the second or first generation Aura ring. This is the new one, the third generation, which I recently bought. They're expensive. Honestly, they're not as good an activity tracker as like the Fitbit or the Apple Watch, but they do some things that are cool. For instance, it monitors my I can show you. Monitors my temperature, and that I started wearing it during COVID because you can if your temperature goes up, it's kind of an early warning sign. It monitors your heart rate variability. And it does a readiness thing. I just put it on again for the first time in a couple of months, so that's why it's not very complete right now. Let's see if I go. Yes, he's not going to have. Oh, there's some old. Is there old information? No. Let's see. Yeah, this is when I stopped wearing it. So let's go back. There you go. Now you can see readiness, body temperature, sleep balance, things like this. Heart rate variability, which higher is better on that. So these are all things that it does a good job with. And because it has a 5-day battery life, you can wear it, while you're sleeping. I have now, one of the reasons I stopped using it is I have the 8 Sleep, our sponsor, 8 Sleep's mattress, and it does all the sleep monitoring. So I don't really need the Aura. But, I thought it's a good thing to have on. Yeah, apparently they have pulse ox sensors, but they haven't enabled them, so that'll be interesting. So you wear one too, Dr. Mom? Or you just won't do it until you get one? Disco Dick T. Bartolo is dancing in. He was born to be a geek. Hey, Disco Dick, how are you?
I'm good, sir. And you?
I am wonderful. It's been a fun show today. We've had some fun callers, and you're always a great way to end a show because Dick joins us every week with a gizmo or a gadget. And part of the game is, can we talk Leo into buying it?
Oh, okay. Well, before we do that, I have a great letter here it's time for my trademark to be renewed.
Yes.
I have 2 trademarks.
Yes, you have a trademark to gizwiz.biz, really?
And the GizWiz. I have 2 trademarks.
Oh, you were smart. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know that darn Regis Philbin wanted to steal it for years.
So I got a very official-looking letter from the Patent and Trademark Bureau.
Oh.
But I knew it couldn't be real because toward the bottom it says, in very small print, by letting us renew for you.
Yes.
You authorize us to represent you for all business in the future.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Were they going to do it for free, or were they also going to charge you?
No. I went to the patent office website to see what the current rate is of renewal, and it's $550 per trademark.
And what do you get? 10 years? How long do you get it?
10 years.
Yeah.
You get it for 10 years.
That's not that bad. Okay.
Yeah. So this company says it's $1,650.
So they charge you money and take all your business.
And take all your business and tell you to rush because your trademark is about to expire. Well, on the website, it tells you have 1 year to renew it.
Wow.
Okay. My patents ended April 22nd, and it said you must renew by April 22nd, 2023.
Oh, okay. So they don't expire it forever.
No.
Okay.
So anyway, all right. So there was a PepCom event, an in-person PepCom event.
Now, you better explain what a PepCom event is, because I think most people don't have the luxury of being invited to these very special technology showcases.
Well, we go to them at all. Like CES always has a monster PepCom. It's actually great for the press. It is
because they feed us.
Yes. Well, two reasons. Food is absolutely first.
Yeah.
The second thing,
first time I ever saw a chocolate fountain was at a PepCom showcase.
But it wasn't for sale, or you would have had it already.
But you could dip anything into it and then eat it.
Yes, exactly. Doesn't work good with a cell phone. Don't worry.
No, I tried. No, yeah.
Yeah. No, PepCom is like at this one, there are 40 tables, and you walk around, and there's what's new from the company with someone who works at the company and usually the PR person.
It's a great way to see new stuff. Those companies pay a lot of money for the privilege, and you can go through a whole bunch of stuff, in a couple hours,
Okay, so I saw something called Bite Away, and I said to the guy, "So is this the way to let insects eat you? What is
Bite away, my friends, bite away."
So he said, "No, it's to take the bite away if an insect does bite you."
What?
Okay, yeah, I know. So that they call it pen size. Well, it's a little bit bigger than any pen you would normally carry. But it's kind of interesting because it uses...
What does it suck the venom out?
No, it does it with heat, Leo. It heats the skin to 124 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
not burning hot, but warm.
Not burning. Yes, exactly.
You'll feel it. Yeah.
And there are 2 settings on the pen, 3 seconds and 5 seconds. For people who have no skin problems, you hit the 5-second thing. If you have sensitive skin or you're under 12, then you use the 3-second.
If you get bit by a rattlesnake, does it have a 40-second?
No, but it issues a little death certificate that comes out of the side.
It comes right out of the side. That's nice.
It says, "Sorry, I can't help you with this."
So this thing, now, do they have mosquitoes there that you can try?
No, they don't. And this has been our coldest spring, so I am plagued by mosquitoes.
Oh, I hate them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If this works, I'm buying it. I mean, really, seriously.
Yeah. It is really, so I had him do it on me, and you certainly feel the heat. But just when you think, oh, this is going to be very hot, it goes off, because 5 seconds is not a lot of time. So I'm looking forward to using it. Also, it's less expensive than I thought. It's $30.
Oh, so even if it doesn't work, what the hell? It's only $30.
It's only $30.
Yeah.
And I had put an Amazon link on, but since I did the website last night, it's gone up to $39 at Amazon. So don't help me out by going to Amazon. Target has it for $29.99, and Home Depot has it.
Is there
for
science behind this?
$29.99.
Is there something that says heat up a bite, it's going to go away? Or?
It says that by heating up the bite, it draws whatever the
venom,
whatever the bug put in there.
Yeah,
and
it draws it out.
It draws it out.
Okay.
So maybe it cooks it out. 124 degrees. Localized heat triggers the body response that will automatically reduce itching, pain, and swelling.
It makes the bite go patooey. And spit the venom right, because the reason you itch is because there's the mosquito injects a little saliva in there that to keep the wound open so it can drain your blood Sorry about this, folks. Hope you're not eating lunch. And I guess this would, push that back out?
Back out.
I'm going to let you try it before I buy it. How about that?
Absolutely. I will try it. And it just runs on 2 AA batteries. And the guy said you get 300 applications on just 2 AA batteries.
So we used to, you'd put calamine lotion on. Do they say it works for bee stings?
Yes.
It does.
It does work for bee stings. Also, I looked on Amazon and 4,500 verified buyers gave it 4.2 stars.
What a clever
idea. So that's pretty decent.
It's a good. They could charge hundreds of dollars and say it's some strange medical thing. So that's good. It is FDA cleared, they say.
Yes.
So it's it's not fly by night. Wow, that's cool. I think I'm going to wait and see how it works for you.
Yeah. Okay.
What else? Mosquitoes. Bees,
spider
bites will work for spider bites.
I'm looking.
Lisa my wife is as I will vouch for, tasty, and so the bugs they don't. It's great. She is the best mosquito repellent for me because they go, let's eat Leo, and then they go, wait a minute, and they go over Lisa.
Well, look at that!
Look at that! Wow, I'm biting that. So she will get covered with mosquito bites, and I will be unscathed. So I might get this for her as a gift.
But I think that thing with Lisa, putting honey on your skin before you go out.
Well, it's her beauty treatment. I'm not going to knock it. I'm just not going to knock it. It seems to be working for her. No, I think it's I don't know if it's blood type or something, but there's something that my sister was
I'm
like
one of
this
those
too. Are you one of those? They love you.
No. They
go for dentists. And dentists they don't eat.
No, they go to me. No. The only thing is Dennis has terrible allergies. And mosquitoes don't bother him. I am the reverse.
Good. GizWiz.biz. You know what? Lisa has allergies too. I wonder if they're related. I wonder if that's related somehow. GizWiz.biz is the website. You'll see the What the Heck Is It contest, a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine, autographed by this guy right here. No, not The Rock.
With a new game tomorrow.
Oh, this is your last chance.
Yeah, last chance.
Go on over there. 6 Mads for the right answer, up to 12 for the best silly wrong answer. Judges' decisions are final. GizWiz.biz, also his great podcast at GizWiz.tv. There's lots of other great stuff at the site, too. I highly recommend it. Now fully trademark protected. GizWiz.biz. Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, bud. I'll see you next week.
Have a great week.
You too.
Thanks to all of you for joining us. Thanks to Professor Laura, our musical director, playing some great music. Kim Schaffer, the phone angel, who answered all your calls. Thanks to all of you who called. Fun day today. Thanks to all of you who listen. I really appreciate it. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.